A sad and scary issue is the topic of today's In-Depth: pediatric cancer. The disease is terrifying and a painful one, but especially so for the littlest of us that it strikes. And here's a look at some of the startling statistics on pediatric cancer. There are more than 800 children with cancer just in the Tampa Bay area alone, and less than 5 cents of every dollar spent on cancer research goes towards pediatric cancer. But one local group is trying to change that. The 1Voice Foundation is a nonprofit organization dedicated to supporting children with cancer and their families. It is also working to open the first school in the country for children with cancer. Now, this is an artist rendering of what the school would look like. It would transform the home theater gallery on South Dale Mabry into the 1Voice Academy. Organizers are hoping to have it open in August. Bay News 9's Al Rochelle spoke with some people who've experienced the need for this type of school firsthand.
And joining me right now to talk about the 1Voice Foundation, I have Marianne Mazzolio right here sitting next to me, and of course Captain Bill Wade and his wife Holly, and we'll explain a little bit more about why you're involved in this. Tell me about what is the 1Voice Foundation?
The 1Voice Foundation provides family support programs for children with cancer here in the Tampa Bay area, as well as raising a lot of awareness and funding for pediatric oncology research.
Now, the ironic thing is that you've both been involved, all three have been involved in working to prevent childhood cancers and raise funds and stuff, but then it struck your own families.
It did. I was a pediatric oncology social worker for about 3 years, and my own 9-year-old son was diagnosed with lymphoma, and we lost him 6 months later.
Right, and Captain Wade and Holly, we know that you lost your son because we were agonizing with you as you were going through this very, very difficult time. Tell me about that.
With that, the year before, we had been involved with Badge Bowl. It was a fundraiser for a young girl with a brain tumor. And it turned out the following year, we were the family standing there with the child with the brain tumor.
Now, the truth of the matter is that when a family member has cancer, it just doesn't affect that person. It affects the entire family in so many different ways, and that's what you're trying to help so it's not quite as severe, right?
Correct. We try to make the journey as normal as possible.
And that has to do with schooling, too.
It does. School is a big piece that people don't really think about, but the bottom line is these children miss a lot of school due to their health, so they end up spending a lot of time at home. Well, if they're at home, mom's at home. If mom's at home and mom's not getting paid, they fall behind financially, and we have an 80% divorce rate. So it's one of those situations where if there was an option for a child to be duly enrolled where they could go to school if they're up to it, or go to a safe environment on another day, it would help alleviate a lot of the financial and emotional strains that we go through as families.
And Holly, the fact of the matter is that when you have a child that has cancer, you're not planning for that child to die. You have to live and do everything as if your child is going to make it, because first of all, you couldn't probably handle it emotionally, but I mean, that's the way you have to deal with it.
And that's true. What we like to say is we tried to keep things as normal as possible in the most abnormal of circumstances.
Yeah.
And for Daniel, his big push, he wanted to get back to school. He wanted to go to school. He wanted to be with his friends. And because of the illness and because of what the treatments did in reducing his platelets and his white blood cell counts, he couldn't be in a regular classroom.
Right.
So he wasn't allowed that opportunity, even though he felt good to be able to be with his friends. He couldn't.
So one of the things the 1Voice Foundation wants to do, and I think this is an incredible idea, is have a school within Hillsborough County Schools for kids who have cancer.
Exactly. We would like to partner with the Hillsborough County Schools and offer a homebound medical center so the homebound teachers could be assigned to that building rather than drive all over the county to see our children, come to one safe environment. Plus the children would be together, which is really key.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's really key.
Now, has this been done anyplace else, Bill?
Not that we're aware of. This is a first, trying to get a school for the children who are suffering with these cancers so that they can be together in a social environment. One of my stepson's biggest goals was to get back to school, to be with his friends, to be able to interact. And of course, a school is not a place where necessarily all the kids are healthy. And when a child is suffering with cancer, their immune system is compromised, so you need to be very careful.
Have you had any other response from other parents? Because I know that when you have a tragedy like this, you have to lean on each other. Otherwise, you can't get up the next morning.
Yes, the families are extremely excited about this concept, as is the medical community and the community in general. And this is something that can really be life-changing through this journey, because everything hits, and it hits hard. And as it is, the child can't go to baseball, they can't go to Girl Scouts. There's so many things that they're not able to do for good part of their treatment. This would allow them time together, to be together in an educational and psychosocial supportive area.
Now, so you're going to have a big fundraiser. You figure this project is going to cost about $5 million, is that right?
It's a $5 million capital campaign. Buildings that we're looking at to purchase are about $2 million, and then of course some renovating to go into it as well.
Right, and you've got the big events coming up on March the 24th.
March
Holly, tell me what that
24th,
is. Yeah,
yes.
what is that? Tell me about that.
That is our big kickoff to kind of highlight to the community what's going on and what we're going to do with this program. An opportunity to meet some of the families who are involved, who will be intimately involved, and some of the kids who will be future students.
Now, this surprises me because the push is always out there to raise money to fight cancer. But of all of the funds that are raised for cancer, only 5% are for pediatric cancer? That surprised me.
It's amazing. If you take $1 and say this dollar is a cancer research dollar, a nickel and less goes to pediatric research. 95 cents on a dollar goes to the adult cancers.
Is that because we just hear so much more about lung cancer and breast cancer and colorectal cancer and all those kind of things?
That's a big reason. The other reason we get is that it's a rare cancer and that most of the monies go to the adult cancers because they're so prevalent versus the pediatric, and also because pediatric leukemia does have a fairly high success rate.
Right, it does have a success rate.
So therefore they kind of say, okay, well then we'll move over here. But the bottom line is it's still prevalent.
Yeah, well, but that doesn't seem fair because if the pediatric has the highest survival chances, then why wouldn't you want to put more of your effort in that
Why
direction?
wouldn't you want to just cure it and end it and be done with it?
Yeah. So what message do you want to send out to parents as well, besides the fact that you do have this huge support group that is together in terms of dealing with cancer in general? Holly?
In the terms of cancer in general, there's a lot of us out there that have the opportunity to lean on each other, learn from each other. That's what we're there for. We're there to support and hold each other up because honestly, unless you've been through it, you can say that you understand it, but until you've been in the hospital and had the doctors and the nurses look at you and say, your child has cancer, it's very difficult to fathom. So being surrounded by people who have been through it, understand it, can support you and hold you up, really makes a huge difference.
Now, would this be just available in Hillsborough County, or are you looking to try to expand it, or would you have to go to St. Joseph's Children's Hospital, or what?
Well, currently it's Hillsborough County. We are going to be working with Pinellas County because many of our children are treated at All Children's. The 1Voice Foundation and the Tampa Bay area serve about 7 counties. The children come from Sarasota out to Lakeland. They may go to school in Hillsborough but not live in Hillsborough.
So just a reminder again, the 24th is the big open house, and where's that going to be at?
It's going to be at the Home Theater Gallery at 3300 South Dale Mabry from 6 to 8, and anybody's welcome to come in and see all the amazing people that are partnering with us on this.
So folks, you want to get involved in a very, very worthy cause, we're just going to suggest you head out and see that open house. And thank you so much for coming by and sharing your story, and thank you so much for all the great work you're doing for all of the parents whose kids don't have cancer but could have in the future, because it can happen. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And to find out more about the 1Voice Academy and the programs the organization hopes to be offering, just head to our website at baynews9.com. You'll also see a classroom naming opportunity and be able to learn more about this week's fundraising event. We've also provided a link for pediatric cancer facts. Just click Seen on 9.